I'm Dr. Marci Koski, and I am a certified cat behaviorist. And today we are going to talk about handling cats at the halfway house for Furry Friends. We've had a few cat bites recently, and I just want to make sure that everybody is aware of how to safely meet and greet a cat, and also how to interact with some of the cats that are a little bit more prone to biting. So first of all, just in terms of meeting cats, I always follow a general protocol. Now Dash here is super friendly and he loves pretty much everybody. So we're going to demonstrate with him first. So one of the things I do when I approach a cat, every cat is different, and unless you know that cat really well and know their personality, you're going to not be familiar with their moods, and you're going to have to really pay attention to their body language. And even for cats that you do know really well, they might be having an off day. Maybe they just got their medical stuff done and they're a little bit grumpy. So when I meet a cat, generally, I will just do a quick assessment of what this cat's body language looks like. Now I know Dash is a friendly cat, but he is giving some body language that I might be a little bit concerned about. His tail is flicking and his ears are back. So typically that would mean that maybe he's not so open to interacting, in which case you want to just let him do his own thing and come to you. But since I know Dash is in a good mood because I was just interacting with him, the next thing I want to do is go up to him and offer him my hand to sniff, just real briefly, and then I might just pet his cheek just a little bit. Most cats are safe to touch around the head. They like their cheeks and the top of their head being touched. But again, if a cat at any time kind of backs away, you don't want to move forward with interacting with them. Let them come to you. If a cat is, you are not sure about a cat and you don't know how to interact with them, don't make direct eye contact. And because some cats take that as kind of a threatening signal. And another thing you can do, where are you going? Hi, Dash. Another thing you can do is get down on their level. What you want to do to make yourself less threatening is stand to the side of them so you look a little bit slimmer. I don't know about in my case, but stand to the side. And if they're up high, because that makes you less big. And then if they're on the ground, you might even want to crouch down on the ground and get on their level. The other thing you don't want to do is never approach them from above, because cats can't see what you're doing when you're coming from above. And that again is kind of a threatening movement. So always offer your hand to sniff. If they sniff the hand and give you kind of the go ahead, then you can pet a cheek or the top of their head, and then move on to the body if they are amenable. But if at any time a cat backs away, or you see the body language shift, ears go back, tail starts flicking, you want to give that cat some space. So we're going to go around the halfway house and meet some cats that have had some history with some nipping, and I'm going to show you how I like to interact with these particular kitties. Hi, this is Ocelot, and Ocelot is very tiny and very cute, but this is very deceptive because Ocelot bites hard, and she even got me once. She likes biting hands, and she got me right here when I first met her. So even us experienced cat folks sometimes get nailed if we're not paying attention. So Ocelot, her modus operandi is kind of a slow bite, but she bites hard. And this usually happens when you're petting near her head, and she'll turn her head slowly towards you and then just chomp. So be very careful when you are handling her around her face. One of the things you can do is take a wand toy like this and wrap the fleece end around the end of the wand like this and tuck it in. And you want to let her smell this Oh, hello. And then you can pet her using the end of the wand toy if you don't want to get too close. Oh, she's a little agitated, so it's good that I was using this instead of my hand. We were just handling Ocelot, so she's a little bit of a grumpy puss right now. But please keep your hands away from her mouth and just be very aware that Ocelot will bite. And if you are nervous, use this to touch her cheeks and her head. And most of the time she really enjoys that, and you can get her to purr a little bit. So be very careful when you're handling Ocelot. This is Sheena, and she's one of our longtime residents. And she has a history of being kind of grumpy, and she has bitten people not too long ago. But her attitude has really improved since she's been getting her fur groomed and some baths. Sheena really likes being touched on her head, and in particular on her cheeks. She's purring right now. And she also really likes being brushed. So start with her head just to see how she's doing. And again, when you first approach her, you just want to make sure that she knows you're there. So let her sniff you. And then, oh, that's a go-ahead. You can rub her cheeks. She loves that. And then the top of her head. And she tends to get a little cranky when you rub her back, but sometimes she enjoys it. Just be very careful. She's starting to be like, okay, that's enough. But she really does like being brushed. So again, just be careful when approaching Sheena's back. So she's starting to, I'm just gonna stop. I'm gonna focus on her head. But she's still purring, so that's a good sign. Watch out when Sheena's eyes get big and dilated, and her tail starts twitching. And again, she loves her cheeks and her head brushed. Be very careful when you're rubbing her back. But other than that, Sheena's a good girl. I'm here with Luna, and I am on her level, as you can see, just sitting down. And Luna loves her head being rubbed, and she's actually just rubbing her head on my hand and purring quite loudly. But I've been warned not to touch the rest of her body because she will bite. So with Luna, I'm just letting her sniff me and check me out first. And then again, I will just rub the top of her head and her cheeks. Now Bernie is another kitty who also has a history of being very unpredictable, but she actually does like sitting on people's laps, and she might just, if you sit on her level, don't you guys start with me in the middle, because don't even. Bernie is unpredictable, so you want to approach her very carefully, but the thing about cats is they can sense how you're feeling. So if you approach them with fear or anxiety, they will pick up on that, and they will not know that it's them that you're afraid of, but they'll think that there is something to be afraid of themselves. So they will, in turn, act very defensively. And that's oftentimes where people get bit, because the cat is already on edge because you're on edge. Does that make sense? And I think Bernie is one of those kitties. She's a bit unpredictable, but if you approach her with confidence, but being careful, again, concentrate on letting her sniff you, letting her check you out, and then maybe giving her a little pat on the head, the cheeks, and the top of the head. And then you can pet the rest of Bernie's body. If she does get on your lap and you want to leave, all you have to do is slowly stand up. And she may complain just a little bit, but she will get off your lap and things should be fine. And just a word about Bernie, she loves toys. So if you want to be one of Bernie's best friends, bring a wand toy and play with her, because she really enjoys that. Now, Bernie likes to hang out in people's laps, which is great until you're ready to go and she doesn't want you to go. But you can see that she can be very affectionate, and she likes this part of her body being touched and rubbed. And sometimes she will just sit down and expect you to pet her. If you have to get up and Bernie is not quite ready, all you have to do is slowly stand up like that. And she complained a little bit, but it's okay. You can always appease her with a toy after you stand up, and you'll be her best friend again. Winston and I thank you for watching this training video. And I just want to summarize some of the things that I talked about. First of all, it's okay to not interact with a cat. If you are scared of a cat or unsure of a cat, it's okay to not pet that cat or not touch that cat. Let them come to you. That's perfectly fine. Also, when meeting a new cat, some cats find direct eye contact threatening. So you want to avoid direct eye contact. You can still look at the cat, but just not directly in the eyes. Also, when you first come up to meet a cat, no matter how well you know them, let that cat sniff you first. Offer your hand to the cat for a quick sniff, and if the cat rubs into you, that's a great sign. If the cat kind of pulls away or doesn't interact with your hand, you might just want to back off. When you do go to pet a cat, start with the cheeks and the head first. Cats usually enjoy their cheeks and their heads rubbed. The chin is okay. Ocelot is the exception to this in our house right now. But then if the cat gives you the okay, maybe they're purring and rubbing into you because they like their head touched, experiment with the rest of the body. Just move slowly, use firm and even pressure, and see if the cat likes that. Any change in body language should signal you to stop. And you want to pay attention to that body language. Do an assessment when you first meet the cat. You want to just be safe with a cat. If a cat has their ears down or their back tail is flipping or their eyes are dilated, you might just want to give that cat some space. And finally, when you're moving through the halfway house, please, please, please pay attention to the signage. I know that we can all become blind to the signs that are posted everywhere, but each room has information about the cats that are inside. Look at the signs on the door. We don't want you getting bit. And if you do get bit, please let somebody know. Thank you so much for watching the video, and if you have any questions, please ask.